All right, everybody, and welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave here. Man in the news desk, and I got, what's your name back there behind the boards?
Really? Really?
Got the producer back there, manning it up. I don't know. What's your name?
Blake.
Blake, the new guy, Blake. Back
New
there.
guy? I've only been here since August, bro.
He's been here since August. He's not the new guy. I'm just saying. I'm getting that in. I thought anytime you're under a year as a freshman year, you're still the new guy. If you've been under a year,
You know my name, no.
Yes, I know.
You've been so busy lately.
What? I just like jacking with you. All right. So, by the way, have you heard about the congressman elected to the White House who lied about about his schooling? Lied about. Wait a minute. Let me just go into this. He lied about where he went to school, his education. He lied about where he used to work, the Fortune 500 companies that he used to work at.
Oh.
He lied about his religion. He said both his grandparents were in the Holocaust. He's Catholic. He lied about. He's lied about. There's no. You can't tell me. In fact, they're finding more and more out about this guy. It seems. And by the way, they confronted him on it, and he said, "Yeah, you know what? I did embellish a little bit. I am sorry, but I am not going to resign." He hasn't even been sworn into Congress yet. And here's my take on this, and I'm just going to ask, Blake, here. You should see the uproar with the other congressmen, the other politicians, about one of their own lying. Seriously.
How dare you
How
lie?
dare a politician in this country not tell the truth to the people that he's voted, his constituents? I am shocked that there is somebody out there that actually had a politician that has actually lied. They've been used car salesmen, most honest people I know. Right? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
We'll that.
I thought that a politician in this country, I thought that was a license to lie.
I think it's part of the requirement.
I think, isn't it? I mean,
for a politician.
I'll tell you. So, anyway, they don't know if they're going to file charges. There's district attorneys looking into it. I'm not sure.
On what? On
what, a lie? Well, they'll have to arrest half of
every
Washington.
single one of them. Not half of them.
At no point do I think that that's a good thing. At no point in this conversation do I want you to believe that what we're talking about here isn't wrong. Okay, that is not what I'm getting at. You should hear the rhetoric in Congress about a liar.
Pot kettle.
I don't even understand it that much. You know what? I get it. You know what? After all said and done, I think he just lied too much. I think this dude was just being a congressman. It was like a TV actor. I think he was just an actor. Because, I mean, honestly, somebody had told me a long time ago, that acting was an art form. No, it's not. They're just good liars. They're just pretending to be somebody they're not. They're just, okay, first of all, you're Darth Vader. What, you're a Wookiee? I mean, honestly, that's an art form? I mean, I don't know.
I'd like to meet a politician in Washington that hasn't lied on
good
their
luck
resume.
With that. And like they're going to tell you the truth that they did lie.
Right.
Anyway, I just saw that in the news. I thought it was very interesting, the twist that somebody, and you know what? We're all shocked that someone was elected and had lied about it. We're all shocked.
I'm just dumbfounded.
Absolutely appalled. But really confused. I just don't get it. All right, look, I think you should look into this, Congressman, up there in New York. I really would like to see. This is going to be a fun story. This is going to be a great story. All right. We have Kaylee Nix, reporter and meteorologist over at Freight Waves on next. We got an interview with her. We'll be right back.
Oh, she had a birthday on Tuesday.
Oh, did she?
Yes.
All right, well, let's talk to Kaylee when she comes back in just a second here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
You're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News down in Texas. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We had another $1.5 million seizure. If ever there's a time to do a pre or post trip, it's if you're doing something wrong. Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob. You can kind of see where the visibility can be compromised a little bit. Again, right where that rain is.
And most importantly, safety.
One of the things that we must do is make sure that safety is the number one thing that we focus on.
Going into an intersection, yellow is not the way. That's to clear an intersection, not to enter an intersection.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
All right, and we're back here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Kaylee, what's going on? It's been, what, a month since I saw you over at WIT. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, Dave. Thank you guys for having me on. I super appreciate it. Yeah, I got to meet you guys in person and Bryce and her fabulous outfits at the Women in Trucking Conference back in Dallas in November. And it was awesome. It seems like the year has really wrapped up pretty quickly since that conference. And now here we are, 2 days left in the year, and I'm happy to be ending it on PCB Live.
Well, I do appreciate it. You are currently, you're out there in Tennessee, right? Right now?
Yep, Chattanooga, Tennessee, the heart of Freight Alley, as we like to call it.
Yeah. Did you, what's we've had kind of a weird little pre-winter type thing going on for being just winter a few days. I mean, we've only been, a winter a week, and it's been it's been a little crazy in and of itself. I mean, and it doesn't seem like we're done. I mean, we're just getting started this winter.
Yeah, talk to people at Southwest Airlines, and they'll really let you know how the early winter has been faring for them.
Yeah. If you can get them on the phone.
You can get them on the phone, exactly.
Boy, they've taken a hit, haven't they?
I would. People like to say that, like, in transportation, right? Like, dispatchers have a really tough job, but like the frontline workers at an airline during a mass winter storm and an aftermath that took them completely offline, they have the hardest job in transportation, because like airlines are transportation technically, you know.
They are. They're still moving. They're still moving something from point A to point B, and it's just crazy exactly how that gets done. I will tell you, you're a meteor. I mean, are you a weather person or are you a meteorologist? I just want to know.
No, I am truly a meteorologist. I have a degree from the best meteorology school in the nation,
Texas
University
A&M?
of Oklahoma.
Oh.
And you know what? If anybody is a Penn State fan, I will go to my grave saying that OU is number one.
Well, I think that's great. I would.
I already disagree.
Did you already? Oh, did you already? No, I think it's great. I'm glad you went there. I'm glad that you went to a great school. Did you So, and I'm going to, and I know this is what you really want to talk about, but what's gone on in Buffalo, up there on the Northeast, and what transpired, what's going on out west, and the snowpack is unbelievable, bigger than it's been in years, which they need, right, to get Lake Mead filled back up. But, this volatility going on, it's going to stay here for a while. Don't you agree that this up and down that we're going to have, hots colds, and everything in between, hurricanes, tornadoes, bad storms. So that isn't going away anytime soon. Right?
No, 1000%. That more extreme weather on one side here or there is definitely here to stay. And as we continue to move forward, we're definitely going to see those periods of increased drought, increased heat, increased time without rain in the summer and those traditionally warm months. And then as we transition to the cold, we'll start to see those more extreme cold events, those extreme snow events, that kind of really anomalous weather that we haven't seen in a very long time as we get more unstable either side of things.
What? Let me ask you a question. I know you have a lot of fun. You're a reporter and a meteorologist, and I think as a meteorologist you report the weather, but it's a whole lot different than reporting to a person or communicating directly. Which do you get a bigger kick out of? Honestly, I know you went to school to be a meteorologist, and you get to report that. Which do you like both for what they have? But if you had to pick one over the other, where do you think you'd be? Is that a fair question?
It's definitely changed since I came to FreightWaves, because I started my career like traditionally in broadcasting, right? I worked for a local news company here in Chattanooga. I was their weekend meteorologist and then a general assignment news reporter during the week. So like I would literally get an assignment, leave the station, go knock on doors, go find random people to like talk about topics that they might or might not be experts about, they might or might not have a vested interest in. So back in like my starting days, I was definitely more interested and more passionate about reporting the weather, even though out of like an 8-hour workday, I would spend 4 minutes total reporting the weather, right? I'd work for 8 hours only to talk about it for 4 minutes.
Sure you did. We know what y'all do over there.
little skewed in effort versus payment, yeah, and in more ways than one. But now that I'm at FreightWaves, it's definitely shifted to, I enjoy the reporting side of things a lot more. So my formal title is senior meteorologist. Like that is my namesake title here at FreightWaves. But I spend most of my time getting people to sit down for 3 different shows. FreightWaves Now, which is our morning show, very similar to what you guys do at BCB Live, formal interviews, weather, traffic, all of the above. I host a show At Your Doorstep, which is my personal show that's a complement to our Modern Shipper brand at FreightWaves. And then myself and Grace Sharkey started Great Quarter Gals this year, which we'll talk about a little bit later, I'm sure. But the thing about working at FreightWaves and working we're B2B media, right? We are business to business media for everybody who is in this career space of transportation and logistics. And people who are out of it find value in it too. But the difference is that everybody I talk to is passionate and is bought into the topics that they're talking about. And I thrive, I live for talking to people about what gets them excited, about what they're passionate about. So like I can find a new founder in the space who is just starting his company, who's seeking VC funding, who is like brand new, he's excited about that. I can find a broker who's been brokering for 35 years and has made a career, he's excited about that and he loves that. And it doesn't matter which side of the spectrum I am or who I talk to, they're excited and they're happy to be there. And that just like really, that fills my cup.
So what differentiates your time? I mean, I know what you do at FreightWaves. I know you sit down and you have meetings and all that. Is that what you're talking about at your doorstep? Is that what you're discussing, that your personal space in there that you find? What is that? How does that differentiate between the other things that you're doing? I just want to ask about it.
Yeah, so At Your Doorstep, it's a show like we put on the rest of our FreightWaves programming. And that's a show that was born out of the FreightWaves subset Modern Shipper. And Modern Shipper is really focused on last mile delivery, e-commerce, gig economy, and robotics and automation work. So that is the show that focuses on that specifically for FreightWaves. So I talk to a lot of e-com companies. I talk to a lot of like cloud-based warehouse management solutions, a lot of robotics companies, some drone companies. Basically, if the topic falls into the space of gig work or automation or last mile delivery, parcel delivery, stuff like that, it falls into that show specifically. For example, one of my favorite episodes I've ever done was in 2021, and I talked to someone about the power of social media and influencers when it comes to changing small parcel delivery. and how this kind of influencer marketing and the takeover really of influencers as a main like company outlet source of marketing has changed small parcel delivery. That's fascinating.
Well, I'll tell you, it's changed over the years dramatically. Just all of it. In now when you have like LTL or small parcel delivery, and one truckload's late, you got 500 people all know you're late on their smartphone immediately, and guess what? You're getting 500 phone calls, right? So
Exactly.
so it's. I mean, and it can be, and it needs to be that up to date, minute by minute information goes out, and I think that's how the influencer is so much more important, because they are up to the minute, right? I mean, they are dealing with the moment, they are dealing in the time and in the space that we're living in, right? And I think that's where it's not 3-day-old, week-old news. You're listening to stuff that they're talking about right now that you're jacking with and messing with.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool and fun. All right, so yes, we're going to talk about Great Quarter Gals. Because I think it's important. First of all, tell us what it is, why it was established, and your partner, and just kind of go into a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Great Quarter Gals is another one of our unique shows at FreightWaves. It's very niche specific, right? That's where a lot of our content goes from broad, like FreightWaves Now, we cover every topic, to very niche specific, and Great Quarter Gals is one of those. It's actually a play on a show that we used to have called Great Quarter Guys. And that show was focused on quarterly results. It was very finance, bro, forward. We had two of our former FreightWaves employees who were running that show, who both left the company to pursue different avenues at the end of last year, both moving into the VC space and into the finance world. Shocker, right? They hosted a finance show. They took finance jobs. And so when Great Quarter Guys died at the end of last year, I kind of had this thought where I was like, I want to reclaim that and turn it into a show that focuses on highlighting incredible women in the freight space. And that's exactly what we've done. So we started the show, I believe it was the second or the third week of January last year. Weekly show comes on Tuesday afternoons, and it's myself and Grace Sharkey, who is one of our staff writers there at FreightWaves. She's incredible. She writes about so many different things in the freight space, everything from new freight tech to M&A activity. She writes a weekly newsletter called The Logbook, which focuses more on human interest stories and really feel-good people stories coming out of the freight industry. And then she's also one of our communities writers, writing a communities newsletter and hosting a podcast called Point of Sale, which focuses on the retail side of things. But we launched Great Quarter Gals really with the intention of giving a dedicated platform for people, it doesn't matter if they're women or not, to come in and talk about the difficulties, but also the successes of becoming a woman in transportation and logistics. And in a field that has been traditionally male dominated, where incredible people every single day are working to break down those barriers, people talk about it, but we don't see it a lot, right? Especially on like shows like FreightWaves Now. As the producer, I know that our guests and our interviewees are skewed more towards men. And so now we have this platform where we are intentionally providing a space for women to come on. Of course, men are welcome too, but we are intentionally opening that spot up specifically to women to come on, talk about themselves, highlight their accomplishments, let other people know who are watching and listening that the industry is ripe for mentorship opportunities, and it is ripe for success no matter who you are, where you come from, or what you want to do. That option is there and the opportunity is there.
Yeah, I think this has become an even bigger thing than just what y'all are doing. I think this is obviously, we have our own Ladies Who Launch on Wednesdays. We do the same thing. We focus on women during that day in the freight space, or any topic that has to do with safety or something of that nature, to try to highlight that. But I honestly believe, after I went to the Women in Trucking Conference, I've come to believe that it's, after listening to the director of the FMCSA and understanding how, I really don't think this is any longer a male-dominated industry. I truly believe this is our industry, that we're all responsible. Now, I don't want to take away from the opportunity to highlight women, what they're doing, so that we can get better, smarter, and more talented people in the industry, because that's how you're going to recruit them. And I want that to still be there. I want that focus to still be there. How are we as a group going to continue to get a stronger foothold to the women out here that may still believe that this is a male-dominated industry?
We talk about that question literally almost with every single guest, right? Is that how are you developing that next generation? How are you reaching out and shaking your hands and pulling down the ladder to pull more people up with you, no matter who they are, if they're women, if they're men, if they're people of color, if they're disenfranchised, if they've historically been in the industry, if they don't even know what truck transportation is, right? You are still reaching down that ladder to develop the next generation of people to be in the industry and push it forward. Transportation is a majority part of the US economy, of the global economy, and nobody truly realizes that. If you're out of the industry, nobody really realizes that until you have issues with supply chain that affect us all. I think that everybody talks about, the pandemic really thrusting transportation and logistics into the spotlight, but that's definitely really true. And I think all of us, me, you, folks who host shows like BCB Live, who have platforms like Freight Waves, who are vocal and outspoken, it is our responsibility to provide a place for people to come on and use our platform to talk about their goals, right? Because at the end of the day, it all falls on us to be that handshake and that level up for the next generation. But we can't do that if nobody knows that we're giving them that opportunity. So I definitely think places like BCB Live and shows like Great Quarter Gals give people who want to speak a platform to do it from. And it's honestly half of my job to ask a question and then get out of the way and let them talk and let everybody else hear,
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this show on here now, is I'm asking the question and I'm getting out of your way to hear about your goals and where you want to take Great Quarter Gals and where you want this to lead to. And there's your question. Where is it that you would like to see it go to as we move forward?
So Grace and I have had we call them our bucket list guests, right? The people who we have wanted to have on the show to hear them speak, either because we find them really influential, or they lead major companies, or they've done big things in the industry. And this year we got 2 of our 3 guests, our bucket list guests, checked off. We had Shelly Simpson checked off with us in May. She came live on our show when we were in Rogers, Arkansas for the Future of Supply Chain event. That was like life altering, because Shelly is someone who is an absolute force to be reckoned with. And now as president of JB Hunt, she just, I just look up to her. I can't even talk about her without getting excited and giddy about that interview, even though it happened 9 months ago. And then we had Robin Hutchison, the director of the FMCSA, or administrator of the FMCSA, I should say. And she came on the show being the first confirmed administrator in nearly 2 years. And just to hear her talk about her role and her relations with government, that was absolutely huge and really inspiring to see that different perspective. Our third bucket list guest that we have yet to make even a smidge of contact with is Carol Tomei, who of course heads UPS. So every time I'm on air and we mention her, I'm always like, Carol, if you're watching this, hit us up. We want to
Hashtag, you've been mentioned.
Hashtag get Carol Tomei on GQG. But I think our goal for this next year, and I don't want to speak for Grace, but speaking for myself, I definitely want to grow our audience and to really provide a space for everyone to feel like they are welcome to come and talk on our platform, regardless of if they are a woman who has been in logistics and found major success like Shelly Simpson, or someone who is just starting out in their career and doesn't know where to go, right? Because that's oftentimes like the big dichotomy is you get a lot of women who are stuck in this entry level, or you have this unattainable group who is at their highest level, their peak of their career. And it's very hard to find that transition period in between. So I really want everybody to know that we're open to everybody and we want to feature everybody in everybody's stories. Yeah, I would say that's the big goals, is growing our audience and letting people know that we're here to serve them. So come talk to us.
Did you what was the biggest takeaway you got from last year throughout the entire year? And I know that you were excited to have one of your heroes on there, or a couple of them on there, but But as you went through the year and you got it, what were some of the greatest takeaways you got through your interviews this year that kind of changed your perspective on how you're going to go into next year?
I think one of my biggest takeaways is that a lot of leadership, even like upper level and C-suite level leadership, is still kind of struggling to adjust to the ideas of the changing workforce. And I don't want that to sound critical of any of those amazing people that we talk to, right? But like the reality of it is that the newest generation entering the workforce is totally different than folks who have been in the workforce at all through their middle careers, right? We live in a totally different time now post-pandemic than we did pre-pandemic. And it is very difficult for companies who are maybe entrenched in the traditional classic ideas of working to make that adjustment to accommodate new workers. And I think, I sit right on the cusp of millennial and Gen Z, right? I turned 26 on Tuesday. We talked about that. And I've been working in now corporate America since I was 21. So 5 years of work in corporate America. And it has really, this last year has really changed me and challenged me to see that traditional work isn't what people think it was. And we definitely need to adjust our expectations. And it is totally possible to adjust our ways of working to accommodate the new generation. And without that accommodation, we're going to lose out on a lot of talent. But at the same time, it's really slow for companies who have histories of working a certain way or who have this traditional work expectation to make those changes. So I think on both sides, there needs to be given grace, right? The younger generation needs to allow some time for changes to really trickle down. But at the same time, those upper level traditional jobs need to start thinking in a different way, or else they're going to miss out on who knows what type of talent.
Well, I think it is important that, that whole process that you're talking about, it changes hard. And it always has been. It's going to be hard, but it is always necessary. I mean, it's the only constant I truly think exists is change. So it makes it. It's not exactly as easy as you talk about. Let me before you get out of here, I wanted to ask you. You guys over at Great Quarter Cows actually did something on Spotify. You want to tell me what it is? Something that you achieved?
Yeah, so our Spotify Wrapped this year came up pretty big. We finished the year with 32 episodes, nearly 900 minutes of listening. We were listened in 9 countries, and our followers were up 40% year over year, which, it started from 0, so like 40%, that's still pretty good, right? So we had a pretty big year on Spotify for our Spotify Wrapped. And just like all of our FreightWaves content, we're available on every single podcast player. So Spotify, Apple Music, we stream to YouTube, we're on tv.freightwaves.com. Like we are on a million different platforms. So Spotify is just one little nugget of our viewership and our listenership. But to see that we're in 9 countries, to see that we were almost 900 minutes of content with a podcast that is less than a year old, that was like kind of this like aha moment of like, oh, people hear us and they want to keep hearing us. And that's enough to keep us going, Well,
I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep listening. And I hope that anybody out there that as we sit here and talk to Kaylee gets to listen to the many different avenues and openings and opportunities for her out there at FreightWaves, Great Quarter Gals, and what was the doorstep? Wait a minute.
At your doorstep.
At your doorstep. At your doorstep. I couldn't remember. At your doorstep. Make sure you're going to get out there and listen to Kaylee. I appreciate you coming on, talking to us a little bit about what's going on over there. Do me a favor before you get out of here, though. Will you at least state your name, who you're with, and that you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dave, for having me on. I'm Kaylee Nick, Senior Meteorologist with FreightWaves. You are watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Thanks, Kaylee, man. Love you. And guess what? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Dave.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Oh, thank you.
Bye now. All right, that's Kaylee. When we come back here in just a second, we will talk to Double Check Dale a little bit about safety before we get out of here today. Be right back.
Drive safe.
What does that mean? So you can speed with it. All right, here we are. We're back here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave here. Tip number 4, drive slower with a loaded trailer.
Stole my thunder there. Drive safe.
What does that mean? So you can speed with an empty trailer? Is that what the theory is here?
No, it's the theory is, and it's not a theory. Loaded trailers roll over easier in curves than empty trailers do. You want to explain why that is, Dave?
Well, yeah, your center of gravity is no longer lower anymore. It's a little bit higher within the load.
Yep.
No longer underneath the trailer.
Newton had nothing on you.
He did. So, hey, first of all, he's a knight. He was knighted by. He's a knight. He's Sir. It's Sir Isaac Newton, by the way.
And the other thing about loaded trailers, it requires 20 to 40% more braking distance than passenger vehicles to come to a complete stop. And that's why we talk about on this show all the time about speed and space following distance. I mean, we got to increase that spot following distance. Have you a loaded trailer? Give yourself even a little bit more space there. Just slow it down.
Absolutely. And just so you know, just driving alongside a truck, it's not always easy to know if the trailer is loaded or not loaded. However, if a placard is out, it is a good indication that it is loaded. But other than that, if it is just a trailer, don't be aware. Always treat trailer and equipment as if they are loaded out there on the highway and give them the respect that they deserve 100% of the time, because you never truly know what's in the box or what can happen, right?
There you go. There you go. You don't want to find out by accident.
You don't want to find out by accident. Let's go look at a video or two before we get on.
And we were talking about that following too close, and that's what we were doing right here. You know, driver does, back off a little bit, but just have to react a little sooner when you find yourself in that situation. Get out of it. There's really no place to go. We've got cars alongside of us. We have a shoulder. Just own the space in front of you. Drive safe.
Absolutely. Next video.
It's the nighttime. Still not a good time to follow too close. Your vision's compromised.
Yes, it's not a good time.
Your vision's compromised and you can't see far ahead. So just back off. Give yourself more space to react.
All right, next video.
We were talking about this yesterday, speeding on on-ramps and off-ramps and everything. Flashing lights, 35 miles an hour, and the driver's hitting this one, just about 50 miles an hour. Driver, slow down. Take those seriously. Slow down when you're getting off the off-ramps or getting on the on-ramps. Do what the signs say. Obey it.
Pay attention. Uh-oh. No. We're not doing it today.
We thought about it. We slowed down. We made that not so much a good effort.
That was our effort? That was it?
It's not so much a good effort. Slowed down, but stop means stop. It doesn't mean slow down.
This is not.
Slow down today.
By the way, not acceptable. Not acceptable, everybody.
Four-way stop. Stop means stop all directions.
Absolutely.
On that one. You got to stop.
You got to stop. You got to slow down.
Yeah. Well, you should slow down before you stop and then stop. Come to a complete stop every time. That's what they're out there for.
All right, everybody. Hey, let's get out of here. I hope you all have a great, wonderful, and safe day. And you are watching and have been watching BCB Live.
The safest station in the nation.
See y'all tomorrow, everybody.